Well, hello, and welcome to the Points of Interest podcast. This is the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja, and right over there, he is my podcasting partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
Happy Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. I didn't look it up. I should have looked it up. I should have figured out what today is in days.
Oh, it's the three.
I mean, it's always Taco Tuesday. I mean, we know it's
sure.
always Taco Tuesday, but there's got to be another, Cupcake Day or something, or National, Eat Like a Pirate Day or something like that. So who knows? But hey, man, how's it going? How are you? What's going on, man?
Well, everything's great except for 8 hours of every day of my life.
Okay.
Those 8
Wow,
hours.
that's very specific. Very specific.
Those 8 hours in which I go to work.
Oh, I see.
The current job sucks.
Well, yes, I can imagine.
And
Very
when you already have another job lined up to replace the shitty job that you're doing, you really have to work hard to do the shitty job you don't want to do anymore.
Yes. But I mean, that'll be but a fleeting memory.
Yes.
Because that'll be over soon.
I will never, ever shop for anybody ever again.
You have a girlfriend, you're going to shop for somebody.
Okay. Yes. But, if somebody were like, hey, can you grab these items for me? Like, hell fucking no. No, I don't have any interest in that anymore.
I don't think you had any interest in it to begin with.
There was interest for about 3 to 5 minutes on the first or second day. And I was like, let's try to figure this out. But no.
Of course. Yeah.
I'll try and make any kind of little nugget of shit shine if I can. But
which is very kind of you to do.
I try. But
that's not easy.
That's the thing. It's not easy, and it knowing that there's a way to pay my bills, coming up very soon. It makes it really hard. It just makes it hard to walk in every day and just do this thankless thing. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
But
yeah.
We got a beautiful place like Red Rocks to go to melt away all the bad things of your job and escape and listen to drum and bass and techno and dubstep for 3 or 4 hours out of the night with 10,000 other people.
Pretty good. It's a long time.
It's
a long time.
It is. But it's okay because there are better things on the horizon, and I can look forward to that.
Good. I'm glad you have things to look forward to. Speaking of looking forward to, caught Heelung at Red Rocks last week. Swiss says.
I'm gonna guess it's some sort of EDM thing.
Oh, I thought it was like
or maybe like a
bird flu or something.
With the wording now that I read it again, yes, I see where
Heelung. You never. Who wants Heelung?
Heel? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's.
Man, feeling sick after some Heelung. But that's cool. Good. I'm glad that you got them at Red Rocks. That sounds like a lot of fun. I hear there's 500 plus steps at Red Rocks, so I hope that was a fun time.
Yeah. So when I was looking at that, I think that's how many rows there are, or I don't know. It said that's how many steps you have to take to get to the top, but it didn't say the top of Red Rocks or the top of the staircase to get into Red Rocks. So
it's outdoors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I've been to a lot of different venues to listen to audio. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Red Rocks is the best place I've ever been to listen to audio. regardless of it,
To
if it being a
just audio.
movie, a comedian, a concert. That's the place to go to.
I mean, it looks huge. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking at images of it now. It looks just absolutely enormous for an amphitheater. Like it's just, yeah, it looks big.
The LA Bowl.
It looks like when you're at the top, you're like you can't see anything on the stage when you're at the top.
It's not that bad actually.
Oh,
But like the LA Bowl would be like the closest thing I could think of as far as
the
like
Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl. Yeah, that's what I meant. It's in LA.
It is in LA.
But that's like the closest thing that I could think. But that's not a natural, thing. That was something. I mean, yes, Red Rocks was built as well, but like where they decided to lay it was just kind of a natural hillside sort of thing. The Gorge. I've heard a lot about the Gorge in Washington, but I don't.
Yeah, because Hollywood Bowl is nothing like. I mean, it's small.
Okay,
it's
that's
like
what I
half
was.
the
That's what I was
size.
trying. That's what I was going to ask you. Eventually, get to is what's the seating? I've never
say it's about
seen.
Because it looks like half the size of Red Rocks. I went there for a Weird Al show, and I was maybe about 100 rows back, and 100 rows back, I think I was near the top. So I think it's only like 150 rows or something like that. Like it's not 500 rows. It's about 100, maybe 150, 200 rows.
So, according to the Googs, 9,545 people is what Red Rocks can handle at one time.
Oh, nice. Well, now I have to look up the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, it says there's 9,000, upwards of 9,000 seats. And then I guess 500 people have to stand.
I must be crazy because the Hollywood Bowl can hold 17,000.
Okay, so the Hollywood Bowl is a lot bigger.
Apparently, I didn't realize this because it didn't look that big to me when I was there. But looking at images now, they must have like portioned off. Well, I don't know. I think it was sold out. So, yeah. But Hollywood Bowl is 17,500 people. Hey, listeners, mate. Wow. So that's pretty big. That's pretty huge.
That is pretty big. So either way, 10,000 or 17,000, a lot of people.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Next time you're out here, we'll take you to the Red Rocks so you can see it.
Only for one of those like crystal and rock shows or whatever.
They don't do those at Red Rocks. They do those at like, the convention center and the smaller convention centers.
Oh, that's
the
too bad.
National Western Complex, which is just a indoor stadium.
I didn't know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn it. All right, fine. I
But
guess I'm just not gonna go.
We can get up at the crack of dawn and go to Red Rocks and do yoga. With the other lunatics.
No, we'll go to Red Rocks to listen to Chad Smith play drums. We could do that.
I mean, everybody should do that because as I am late on a lot of things, Francis. I think it was.
Are you?
Yeah, well, yeah, on a lot of things I think I am because if we remember back a few years ago, I got really hyped.
I'll do my best.
I got really hyped about I don't remember the band now. The band was on Conan O'Brien, Sound of Silence.
There's a lot of bands.
I know they covered the Sound of Silence. Whoever this band
was. Disturbed.
Yes, Disturbed, and it was like. But it was like 6 years after it, I had just found it. And I was like, oh, do you guys hear this? And I remember Savannah just breaking my shoes for about 10 minutes. Like, yeah, we all heard it 6 years ago when it came out.
Yeah.
But this came out 6 months ago instead of 6 years.
Oh, okay.
There's a company called Drumeo. They're on the YouTubes. And if you're a drum nerd, if you're interested in drums, I'd check it out. They have different drummers of different genres come in and play different stuff they haven't heard before, or break down the things that they do know how to play, like their own music. And this is how I do this. I bring this up because there are two videos I watched recently. One was the current drummer for Megadeth. He did the Killers song "Mr. Brightside," and it's Megadeth's drummer. You'd think he'd be, I don't know, just playing faster, but he did the song at halftime, at half the speed of the actual song. So it changes the whole feel of the song. You should definitely check it out. But then Chad Smith, Chad Smith is the guy that looks just like Will Ferrell, or Will Ferrell looks like Chad Smith, one of the two. The drummer for Chili Peppers. They had him come in and they played him a 30 Seconds to Mars song, which apparently is Jared Leto's, or is that his name? Jared Leto? Jared Leto's band. He and his brother's band. They play him a drumless track, and he just comes up. That's what the Megadeth drummer did too, but the difference being that Chad Smith listened to it like for 30 seconds and just started playing. And I don't know, I've never even heard of the band. I didn't know I thought Jared Leto was an actor. Dink dink. So I was like, oh, he was a singer first? Okay. Dink dink. But so I don't know what the drums are supposed to sound like to this song, but the track that Chad Smith laid down was amazing. And you guys should definitely go check that out if you haven't. What did Listener's Mate say?
So before you mention it, read it out loud, and then I'm going to tell you why I find it, why it's funny.
All right, Listener's Mate says, I tuned in to hear Francis saying something about the Hollywood Bowl, and it made me think of an episode of Beverly Hillbillies where this hustler was trying to sell dink dink landmarks in Southern California to scam them out of their money.
So, Automod does not permit the word hillbillies.
What's
and marked hillbillies as inappropriate. So I had to mark it as okay to say. So now the term hillbilly is permitted as a term you can say on our chat. Which is hillbilly that harsh of a term that it should be banned from?
I just wrote it down as, where did the hell did that term even come from? Hillbilly.
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of a derogatory term for people who are from the South or something, or from the country.
Wouldn't redneck be more derogatory than a hillbilly?
Oh, I bet you anything redneck is. As a matter of fact, I can't type into the.
We're fucking white, so I mean, is it really that fucking offending?
Oh, Ginger, I allow hillbillies now, so it's now a permittable term. So you could say you could type out hillbillies now, but I had to permit it. I had to be like, it's okay to say hillbillies, which again is just throwing me off. Now, Ginger, I want to see if you can type out redneck, and if I have to approve redneck. If I have to approve redneck, that to me is very funny, because you do. Oh, you do. I'm allowing it. Okay, there you go. I'm allowing that. So redneck is considered derogatory. Redneck is considered bad. I had to allow redneck. That's so funny. I'm sorry. Funny. That's really funny to me.
That's funny. Oh man.
What other weird terms are inappropriate? It even gives you a warning. It's like, this term is considered derogatory. I'm like, is it really?
I don't want to go testing the waters or anything, but
But mind you, I am neither considered a hillbilly nor a redneck, right?
Sure.
I don't actually know what my derogatory term is, because I don't think we have one.
You do.
Probably. I just haven't heard of it before.
We can't.
Okay.
We can't. I'll tell you later.
All right, tell me later. Because I don't know what it is. But So so anyway, thanks for testing that for us, Ginger. That was really, to me, very funny. But anyway, so
Red Rocks.
There you go.
But yeah, so we got to see a guy named Sullivan King, which is I mean, he's another DJ, a dubstep DJ. His thing is he plays guitar. I guess he was in a hardcore or death metal band or something like that before. I don't know. Metal Step, apparently. I'm not the biggest dubstep guy. I mean, I have fun with it. It's cool. I like DJs. I like DJs that mix actively. A lot of dubstep artists, they have their pre-planned tracks and they hit play, and when that one's done, they hit play and they just play the next track. And that's cool.
Right.
You know, everything's in time that way, I guess. But
Right.
the one of the opening acts this particular evening, it's funny because I looked over to the girlfriend. I almost mentioned to her as this new guy was stepping up to the tables. I was thinking it'd be really cool if a drum and bass guy was at any of these shows ever. And before I can open my mouth, this guy in a Day of the Dead mask looking thing who had no mouth holes or ear hole or nose holes or anything stuck the microphone to his eye with the eye hole in the mask to scream something.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, "This is drum and bass." And for the next 45 minutes, I had a great time. But it was just funny watching this guy hold a microphone to his eye to be heard.
Well, when you cover your entire face, a la, a luchador, right? Luchador? I guess?
Luchadors, a lot of them have their faces completely covered. A lot of them have their mouths open so they can communicate.
So, to be expected, right? To be expected. So
it was funny. Had a good time. I mean, it was, everybody in the crowd thought it was funny too. So I mean, I wasn't the only one laughing.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
We wouldn't want any hillbillies or rednecks to show.
Well, no. Now I'm thinking of Wilson. Is it because of a fence?
Yeah, well, yeah, because you never saw his face.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah, you just saw the top half, I guess.
Sometimes you saw the bottom of his face.
Yeah, that's true.
On very rare occasion.
Yeah,
yes,
I think on the last episode of the series, he came out and they had like part of a fence in front of his face until like they introduced him.
I know he did that for because in the last episode they did like the group bow.
Yeah,
and he came out with a little mini fence.
Maybe I don't remember if he revealed his face or not, but I do remember there being a little mini fence in front of his face, and for a reunion or the last show, I don't remember which one it was. What a weird show.
Wow. I like that show.
I mean, it wasn't
liking that show.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad show by any means.
Yeah.
If you want some fun, I don't know, some fun homework. I think it's on Tubi. If it's not, it's on the other one that we like. What's the other one? Pluto. Tim Allen's original stand-up, Men Are Pigs, is on one of the two of them. I think it's on Amazon as well. Okay. But if you watch that hour-long special and then go back and watch the first season of Home Improvement, it's basically his hour-long stand-up stretched into 22 episodes, or however many the first season was. They just took bits and pieces from his stand-up and made episodes out of it.
Okay. I don't know his comedy, so I don't know. If
it was it was all right. It was fun. It's fun for me just because the family used to watch it when I was a kid, and we all used to laugh
outside of home
and have a great time. Okay. Home Improvement we watched as well, but Tim Allen's stand-up, we watched and we ran a hole in the damn tape. We watched it so many times.
See, yeah. So you have a history. Oh, there you go. There's your. Well, they're not dead, but there's your.
Oh yeah.
Slightly comedic or mention of.
I mean, he's
out of work.
His career's dead. Does that count?
He still does stuff. He just doesn't do a lot of stuff. But I mean, I only know Tim Allen before he did Home Improvement. I just knew he's like got went to prison for cocaine distribution or whatever.
Yeah.
For selling cocaine.
Yeah, well before his stand-up career took off, he got busted for trafficking cocaine.
I think that was the name of his book. Swiss was don't stand too close to a naked man. And that might have been the name of his book. If it might have been the name of his stand-up, but I thought it was the name of his book. But yes, yes, don't stand too close to a naked man, and B,
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, again, he's one of those comedians where like I get Seinfeld has like a big geek following, and like he's or not geek following, but like comedic following, and like people think he's funny.
I don't think
I
he
never
is.
found his comedy funny. I never found his comedy funny.
I'm sorry, but I haven't found the Stiller family funny.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, I think Ben Stiller. I like Ben Stiller movies. Like I like Dodgeball, and I like Zoolander.
Him. Yeah, you want to know why you like him? Because he's got a bit part
No, he's the main guy
in Zoolander. That's why I didn't make it 30 seconds into that movie.
he's not the main guy. He's not the main guy in Dodgeball. But like, yeah. He's like, no, I get you. No,
I guess he's not a bit part in Dodgeball, but he's not in the entire movie. He's in scenes. He's not carrying the movie.
Yeah, you're right. Like the Stillers, I don't know. Yeah, I don't find them funny.
He was funny in the Jack Black and what's that movie called?
Tropic Thunder.
No, not that one. Well, he's funny in that, I guess. But
yeah, I like him in Tropic Thunder.
Shit.
Heartbreak Kid was awesome. What it says. And Tropic Thunder. But
Jack Black and Kyle Glass. You know, they had that band and they made a movie.
Tenacious D.
Tenacious D movie. Yeah, he's got a little tiny part in that. Pretty funny. Yeah. Right, but him as a main character on a TV show, no.
Meet the Fockers was not a.
No. I think it may have been like overall, the movie as a whole been funny at the time, but I'm not a big Ben Stiller fan. I mean, what was that? Something About Mary.
Oh, like, never seen it. Never.
What the fuck?
No. Never seen it.
I just not like the movie again. The movie is hilarious. There's scenes that are really funny with Ben Stiller in it, but I don't think he is funny.
Yeah. Well, okay. My idea of comedy is pretty weird, though. You know, I don't think Will Ferrell is that funny. You know, and he's in a bunch of comedies, and I don't think Will Ferrell's all that funny. But mind you, I haven't seen like the really big movies like Step Brothers or Talladega Nights or something. But I've seen him in other stuff. I'm like, he's fine. He's not hilarious. He's fine.
Those two movies are pretty much the only two Will Ferrell movies that I really like.
Yeah. That seems to be the one that everyone really references.
Where he is a main character. You know, he's in Wedding Crashers, but it's a bit part.
Yeah.
You know, and he's what's that one? Let's Go Streaking in the Courtyard. What the fuck was that called?
Oh man! Oh God! I don't. What is that called?
That movie.
I don't remember. Yeah.
But again, like kind of a bit part. Old school. That's it.
Oh, thank you.
He was okay in that because he wasn't in the movie. Really, he showed up and he was like, "All right, let's go streaking," and then he was gone.
Okay, who do you think is funny?
Like period or was
period.
And no longer is.
Both. Anything. Yeah.
I enjoyed Eddie Murphy before he got old and did nothing but Disney type movies, if you will.
Sure. He was Mushu.
Well, but I mean, like, you know, what's on the Hercules, the wedding.
No, not the Clumps. Was it?
That one.
Big Mama's House.
He wasn't in
No,
that
that
one.
was that's Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Man, we suck at movie titles.
Well, I never saw the movie. Like those are movies, when I think of Eddie Murphy, I think of like The Adventures of Pluto Nash or like
Okay. That movie, Pluto Nash, is one of those movies that people fucking love or hate. There's no in between on that. Or Norbit.
Norbit. Yeah, Norbit.
Where's your stance on Norbit? Because I think that's probably the last funny movie he made.
I've never seen Norbit.
Okay.
And when Pluto Nash came out to my theater, I was working at the movie theater at the time. It lasted a Saturday, and they never showed it again. It lasted like a weekend. Brian Regan is hilarious. His whole bit about how people can't say the "you too" phrase is a classic. I like Brian Regan. He's funny, but he's not mainstream. That's the thing. He's not mainstream. Like Brian Regan is like, I can name like non-mainstream comedians that I think are funny. I'm talking like like this is gonna sound out of date, but I really liked Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart was a comedian before he became a TV show guy, and I listened to his comedy. It's on Spotify, I think, or maybe it was on Pandora, one of those things. And I would listen to his comedy. I'm like, that's pretty funny. Like that's actually funny, So I mean, I like that. But Swiss says Pluto Nash was a Fellini rivaling masterpiece. Whoa, whoa! There you go. There's your love of Fellini. Yeah. The big yellow one is the sun. I'm assuming that's from the movie.
I think so. Yeah.
Listener Space says you were talking about the remake of The Absent Minded Professor. Oh, that's the Absent Minded Professor is another one that Eddie Murphy did. That's true. And he did the one where he talks to animals. Dr. Doolittle. He did Dr. Doolittle for a while. Yeah. He did a lot of family movies.
I didn't think that was funny.
Well, he's better as a rated R comedy guy versus like a PG/G comedy guy. Yeah. Right? Like, that's not him.
I mean, him is Donkey. I mean, sure, fine.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's true.
Whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, put somebody else in that same position, probably be just as funny. Honestly. You know what I mean?
Look, I'm going to say another controversial, but I think I've told you this.
That's
before.
okay. That's what podcasts are for.
But, like, I understand this guy's a legend. I understand that he's revered, and I know he's passed away, but I don't understand Norm Macdonald's humor. Like, I don't find him funny.
That hurts. That hurts my soul, Francis. So much.
But it's known. I used to talk to Dave, the drummer, from an very old podcast partner of mine. He loved, when he was alive, loved Norm Macdonald. Probably still does. But I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand why he's funny. I don't think he's funny. But people like yourself love Norm Macdonald. And I understand. I understand that he has,
it's very...
He has a style.
It's very dry, his humor. I've mentioned it several times over the couple years, but one of those celebrity roasts, he just went up there with 3x5 cards that they handed him in the back, and he just read them, as they were written. Didn't, read them as a joke. He just read them off the card, and I found it dropping out of my chair hilarious.
Yeah. Again, like, good on you. I'm happy. You have something. You have a comedic legend in Norm Macdonald, but I don't.
Well,
like
since we already kind of talked about him last week when we were talking about OJ dying and everything, which was recently we've been talking about a dead comedic or comedy person. The last 3 or 4 weeks. So I actually had one for last week, but then we talked about OJ and Norm Macdonald making a year of jokes on the...
He counts.
What's that?
He counts as a dead comedian that you have to bring up. So
But I was going to bring up Sam Kinison last week, just because the anniversary of his death was a couple days after we recorded like 2 episodes ago.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Right. We're supposed to bring it up. Yeah.
It was sad because right when start a sentence, ready, go. When he died, he had just got sober from all his partying stuff and was killed by a drunk driver.
Ooh, okay.
That's anybody that, dies in a car accident, that's sad, period. But then the added thing of like, he worked really hard to get himself sober, to get straight, to clean himself up, and then gets taken out by the thing that he was doing. I'm not saying that he was drinking and driving all the time, which maybe he was. I don't know. We will never find out. But
right.
He was always one of my favorite comedians growing up. After I saw him, his HBO, Rodney Dangerfield had a whole bunch of new comedians. Tim Allen actually was on one of those shows. And a few others, actually. But I remember when he called Sam Kinison up there, and he just laid out this whole thing and started screaming into the microphone. And, we want to talk about other comedians and whatnot. Very niche, Sam Kinison. Some people know bits and pieces of the guy, but to sit through an hour-long special, it's kind of niche. Ginger, we talked about George. We talk about George all the time.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. Really?
I mean, I guess it gets brought up it gets brought up more than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess he's kind of like the comedian people kind of point at, especially in kind of today's, nowadays. They're like, well, with this, whatever this thing is happening, what would George say? Or how would he handle this certain situation? Or like, how would he make fun of X, Y, and Z given what's happening right now, right?
Yes.
So I think Carlin has a very coveted spot in comicdom because he's like the go-to guy. He's the one that you kind of like, oh, well.
I mean, like, and I'm saying this comedically as best I can, but, I shape my whole personality based off of his comedy routines. It's just like, I'm joking. I'm just saying, like, there's things that I will say in day-to-day conversation, like, holy shit, that's like a Georgeism. That's something George said about the same very thing. Or I'll start, saying something like, holy shit, this is just George coming out of my mouth right now. I'm just reciting something that, part of his thing, because I've listened to so much of it.
Right.
10, 15 years ago, I was gifted pretty much there were CDs. There was like 10 or 15 CDs of basically everything George had done, as far as audio. If there's audio of it, it was in this box set. And there was clips of him as a child at some Coney Island, little recording booth or something like that. And the box set included a bunch of stuff of him as a child. He was fucking hilarious even then. But what I wanted to do, and I didn't get a chance to because life, but I wanted to isolate this one part of what Sam did on his Rodney Dangerfield stand-up. And I just didn't get a chance to do it. But the joke is he's talking about, it was poignant for the time in the mid-'80s. Early to mid-'80s, where the U.S., were sending a lot of aid to Ethiopia. And he was talking about how, the joke, setting up the joke, we drive all this food out here to you people. We're trying to help and everything. But basically the point he was getting to is like, you see this? Picks up handfuls of sand. You see this? This is sand. You know what's going to be in 100 years from now? Sand. Move to where the food is, was the punchline to the joke. But he's screaming this at the top of his lungs. I'm not going to do that to this microphone or anybody listening. And his
Thanks.
Sam was in a bunch of movies, and basically in every movie and every TV show that he was in, he did his shtick of starting off calm and collected and soft-spoken, and it just ramps up to the point where he's screaming and yelling, and it's hilarious. I'm disappointed in myself for not having the audio readily available.
What do you want to do, man? Come on. What are you gonna do?
We need a producer.
Can't have. We need to be affiliate first before we can get a producer, because then you can afford one from
Right.
all of the subscriptions you'd be getting if we were producing, if we were affiliates.
Yes. So, help us get to that 2,000.
No. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. No, that works.
Actually, speaking of that, I've been in contact this week with a Comic-Con, Francis. The first show of the year, actually, and it's not going to happen until July. That's sad compared to 2015, 2016, where we went a month in different cities, basically.
Okay.
It's just a sign of the times, I guess. 2020 has just kind of wrecked all these small shows to the point where some shows don't even exist anymore. And I started February and March was when shows would start here. And there has been some small shows, a couple anime things, but nothing that's really made me be like, oh shit, I need to be there. Well, FanX Denver is approaching, and about 3 weeks ago or so, I sent in the media/press credential application thing. And after going back and forth and basically getting re-vetted as a staple of Denver media, the points of interest has been approved for press for Denver Comic-Con or the FanX Denver. That's not Denver Comic-Con. FanX Denver. Once again, so this will be the 12th year in a row covering this one show. And we talked about on here several times, probably every few months, about how sometimes we get a little down on ourselves about how we feel like we should be further and have more success in this whole thing. But to have 12 years covering one show consistently, despite three or four different PR groups running the thing, this little show is still cool enough and whatnot to be part of Comic-Con. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'm boasting. I'm totally, blowing my own, I'm blowing myself here.
I mean, look, as I mentioned off air, you're a staple. And maybe one day it'll be a staple of the Fiddlers Convention in August 5th through the 10th. Maybe one day. You too will be the king of the Fiddlers Convention.
Would I get a crown?
Virginia. Yes, you get. Well, no, you get a fiddle made of gold. But not against your soul, though.
Okay, good.
That's not. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's as I mentioned pre. Show, like, I feel like you've done it enough to where I think that you're just like a staple of the convention scene out in Denver. I think that I'd be in shock if they don't like just let you run everything at some point because you're there,
right?
Like you're there and you do good work and you talk about their stuff, and we've had many a podcast where you highlighted what happened and the different things that occurred at those conventions. So I would be shocked if they ever say no to you, because I feel like that would be denying again a a figure in the Denver convention scene, as well as your mom. You've taken to
Yes.
cons. The other staple to Denver conventions is, you take your mom to cons.
Hey, the hashtag bring moms to cons.
Bring moms to cons. Yes.
Yeah. Which is funny. A lady who doesn't like crowds, but loves being at Comic-Con.
It's different. It's not a crowd. It's a family.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there is that aspect to it for sure. But I'm excited to go. It's going to be the July 4th weekend. The little bit that I've been able to look into things, it looks like our friends at SourcePoint Press are going to be prominently displayed. One of their writers has already been announced for the show, so I'm imagining others will be as well. Since I was feeling so great about being approved as press/media, last year I got to host two what the hell, sketch duels.
Sketch duels. Yeah.
With 5 artists I've never heard of. And despite my homework, I
heard one.
What's that?
You heard of one.
I heard of one of them,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But unfamiliar with any of their work. Like most of the artists that we know are small time, small time artists. I guess SourcePoint guys aren't necessarily small time anymore, but
Medium time. Medium time.
we just don't. I'm not, and neither one of us are really big comic book nerds, per se. I got a small stack of books, but I couldn't tell you who drew any of them. I just like the stories. But I was stuck with 5 artists I didn't know anything about, and completely faked the funk through 2 different panels last year. I had a great time. Didn't feel super confident, but I had a good time doing it. So before we met up to do this tonight, I sent a message to the panel director for FanX. I'm not 100% sure of his title, but I said, "Hey man, had a lot of fun, hosting last year. Would love to do it again. I'm going to throw my name in the hat if there is a hat for my name to be thrown into. I'd love to help." And the guy messaged me right back and said, "I will definitely use you as a moderator this year." So I'm hopeful for that as well. Because I despite having the nerves and everything, and afterward never really feeling all that confident that I did a good job, I have a blast doing it. While I'm doing it, I feel great. It's afterward when I start thinking about it. I'm like, "Oh God, you sounded like an idiot. Why'd you ask that?" But that's future Josh can deal with that.
Right. Yeah. After they come up to you and tell you what a great job you did, you can then criticize yourself.
Well, I mean that's how
After they tell you how awesome it was.
That's how I do, because I don't. When people, it doesn't matter who comes up and shakes my hand or tells me I did a great job. For some reason, I just think everybody's blowing smoke up my ass, because at that moment, that's, usually that's when I've already stepped off the stage and started thinking about everything. Ugh, that was horrible.
You get a little placard?
I am going to not only ask for that, but I'm
You didn't get one last year, right? You didn't
I
get
did
one.
not, I didn't get a placard, which
Yeah.
I really thought I was going to. Nor did I get a badge, a programming or host badge. This because
Oh yeah, you're a press badge.
because I had a press badge, and the guy asked me if I needed a badge, at all, and I told him no, I'm already there as press. This year, I'm asking for the badge, because if I don't get a name placard, I at least want something official from FanX that says I did something official. And also, I might bring my tripod and just set everything up and record it because there's no proof.
Well, don't forget to bring people with you to
Yeah,
look
that's
after
true.
your stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Make sure you got a crew of some sort. If you get a host badge, you'll technically have some badges left.
An
for
extra
some
badge.
crew,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, there's more excitement to come with that. Obviously, we'll be talking about it a lot more as it draws near. But it was a cool highlight of my one day off of getting approved. So I think that's pretty awesome, especially that it was kind of borderline yes or no.
True. Right. Well, which again, I had no doubt that they would give you the AOK, and plus, listeners, mate, the badges smell delicious actually. So you're right. We don't need no stinking badges. We want fresh smelling, floral badges, which is I think what Josh will be rocking at FanX Denver, which is going to be hard to remember to say. Because it's not it wasn't originally FanX Denver. It was Denver Comic Con. So
yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying to think when they announced it, but it was like early 2012. Early in the year, we were contacted, whatever, and gauged our interest in the convention.
Right.
And we. At the time, the guy that I was running this whole thing with, we replied immediately with, hell yes, this city needs something like that. We need more of this, because there were other shows.
Right.
And we were actually approved for press the first year of Denver Comic Con, but nobody told us. Like, after the show, I got a thing in the mail, like, thanking us for their coverage and this and that. And here, here's the dates for next year, and here how to contact the press office again. And I was like, I wish somebody would told us that we were press, but we just fell through the cracks. The second year, we were actually featured in the weekend program, like the handout, the book thing, as a featured podcast.
Ooh.
And then the following year, we had the booth. That would have been 2015. That Francis and Jason came out for.
Oh yeah.
And I believe we were in that year's book as well, because we were part of the podcast peak, as they called it, which was a fun experience. Not one I want to repeat, though. Not unless we have a whole bunch of people, like an entourage or people that can run our equipment as well. Because on one hand, yeah, it was awesome to have a booth or a table, whatever, and have a chance to get our faces out there in front of as many people as possible. Honestly, right?
Right.
But to not see any of the show sucked. And you and Jason had come out from out of state. So it made all the sense in the world for you guys to go and explore and see as much as you could of a con that you don't ever get to see.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad you guys did. I didn't see any of it. I didn't see any of it that year.
We tried.
I stayed at the booth.
We tried to get you to...
You're more or less the entire time I was at that.
Yeah.
That's okay. No, because you guys wanted to do stuff and go places. I was going to be like, I'm happy here, giving out comic books and like getting friendly with the two other podcasts that were beside us.
That don't exist anymore.
They were cool.
Neither one of them exists anymore.
No, well, technically, the podcast network that we were representing doesn't exist anymore either.
That is true. That is true.
The POT, if ever, as everyone remembers it.
Yes, that was. I still have the two table banners in the closet here. Only one of them we can reuse because I was a dumbass and had a 6-foot banner made with a date on it instead of just leaving it blank. So you only use it for 1 year.
If you had all the money in the world, that then you could have gotten a year. Then you could have it like during an anniversary, just have all of them, all of the banners up in your big,
in cat
7 or 8
booth.
table booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like our buddy Neil Adams.
Oh yeah. There you go. You have your Neil Adams booth.
Yeah.
With your big POI in the background. And just banners, just gigantic, enormous banners from like
surrounded by tables, so you can't even get out of the little hole that you made for yourself.
Yes. Just like
Neil. He was great.
You have to climb over or duck under. Yeah. R.I.P. Neil. R.I.P.
Yeah. I mean, when I think back, Francis, to what is that? That was 16 or 17, where we were in 3 or 4 different cities in just as many weeks together.
Right.
And having Neil tell us to not talk to him again unless we brought money. Like, that will always be a fun con memory for me, just because of like, I said it out loud to you. I was like, we are going to force our friendship upon Neil Adams. And I think we did a pretty good job. Because he recognized us. Even when I wasn't with you and he was down in the Springs here. He recognized me. He didn't want to talk to me, but he recognized me.
Well, I'm sure his focus whenever the two of you did all the talking anyway when we were talking to Neil. So, like, I'm sure. No, I'm not surprised he remembered you over me because I didn't really say much to the guy. You know. Like I left that all to you. Him and his son. You were the conversationalist.
Well, I mean, I was the one that said we were going to force our friendship upon him, so I can't say that and then not, back it up.
Right. Yeah. You got to make some. You're gonna have to keep the promises.
Yeah.
You can't just say stuff. You gotta, say those things and keep those promises. But
And his son Joel, that guy is awesome. He does. I mean, he didn't have a lot to say. He's not a very super talkative person, but I think that a lot of that's because his dad did all the talking back then. It'd be fun to talk to Joel.
The fact that he had his own, he had his own thing to be proud of. Like,
Yeah.
he had his,
The
his and all that stuff.
character designer for King of the Hill, amongst other things. But I would love to talk to him now just to see if more of his personality has come out now, or if it's even more pulled in. I don't know.
I don't think I've seen him at a convention in a while.
I have actually seen Joel at a few shows, but not at a table. He's just been
Colorado?
at the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
But he wasn't.
Like, I don't see him out here.
He wasn't here as a guest. He was just here.
Oh, just as a person.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he had some sort of, comped badge or whatnot, but
Of course. Yeah.
but yeah, I was standing against the wall waiting for somebody. I was like, that's Neil. That's Neil Adams. Not Neil, Joel Adams. If it was Neil, it'd be scary because Neil dead. Like that's Joel. And then I'm looking through the thing, like, Joel's not even listed here. That's cool. He's just here.
Always nice to have somebody hang out every once in a while.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, anything hanging out? No, there's nothing really hanging out. No, I was trying to think, is there anything I can run off of that? Hanging out.
I see.
I
see.
There really isn't. But speaking of long-term things, long-running things, conventions, this podcast under 4 different names. The very first podcast that I ever listened to that gave me the idea and the thought that, holy shit, I can do this too. These guys are just talking about the TV show Heroes. They just watched a TV show and now they're, speculating as to what's next and what is horn-rimmed glasses going to do next and what does this mean? Save the cheerleader, save the world, like all that sort of stuff. And it led me to other shows that they produced as well. There was a Smallville. There was a Sarah Connor Chronicles show that these same guys and their friends were producing. Anyway,
Right.
like I said, gave me the confidence to do it. I listened to them up until Heroes went away. And then Heroes came back for their reboot, and they kind of threw a couple episodes out. Well, just the other day, this podcast put out an episode the first episode in 8 years. And I don't really have much to say about it except for like they ran with the story that we talked about a week ago, that the Hollywood Reporter or some rag was talking about. The original producer for Heroes, Tim Kring, was shopping a new Heroes story around, and it was enough for these guys to all get back together, and come back together and put an episode out. I just thought it was really cool that, like, the guy that started the show, he was working with the Discovery Channel as one of their production groups that made television for Discovery.
Sure.
One of the other hosts writes for Marvel and some of those other type of comic book, or had or done. One of the guys actually wrote a Superman screenplay, and actually was shopped around at one point. So these guys, they're not just Joe Schmoes like us. They got real jobs in the industry.
We have real jobs.
I don't.
You have a real job.
That's not a real job.
It's a real job. You know what's not a real job?
What?
Being an influencer isn't a real job.
We were once called influencers.
We're not influencers.
We
were called that, but we weren't.
Yes, I made sure to tell our good friend that I appreciate it, but we are not influencers.
Yeah, yeah. So you're contributing to the working of society. So, which is because we're doing this, which means that we're influence light. We're influencer light. We do this thing.
We're zero sugar influencers.
We're zero sugar. Yeah, we're diet influencer right now.
We're the diet RC of influencers.
I will guarantee you, if we ever become super popular influencers, I will 100% change my tune and totally sell out.
Oh,
so that's a guarantee.
Totally.
That's a guarantee.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'll sell your crappy vitamin water. That's just Kool-Aid in a fucking container.
Yeah.
Prime.
There was a thing about that. What was the thing there? There was like a thing that like people are getting. There's like a big deal with that Prime stuff. I don't know.
Next time you're at a location that sells that stuff, look at the label. It's just sugar. There's no.
But that's it. But it's everything.
I know,
Gatorade.
But at least there's electrolytes in Gatorade. There's no nothing. It's just sugar.
In other words, Prime does not have what plants crave.
No, not at all.
There's this video. It was a TikTok video that was going around, where, her son, this woman's son, was like a streamer, like a 24-hour streamer or something like that. Like that was their job. Like that's what they did. They didn't go to school. They're like 16 or something, and like they stream all the time. And she's like, I'm worried about my son getting, hydrated. I want to make sure my son keeps getting hydrated. So I built this dispenser, like a water dispenser. It looks like an actual like a Arrowhead water dispenser thing, but instead of water, it was just Prime. Like she poured Prime into it so that anytime you wanted to drink, he just put it under the spigot and it would just pour Prime into his cup. So he could keep going and stay hydrated and keep doing whatever the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Online.
Paying the mortgage.
Look, again, I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing.
So I'm looking at
that's what peeps do.
I'm looking at the ingredients of Prime.
Tell me about Prime. Hit me with the Prime.
Carbonated water, coconut water concentrate, citric acid, quote unquote flavoring.
Okay.
What flavor? Don't know. Just flavoring.
Right.
calcium, potassium, sodium citrate, caffeine, some sort of sugar stuff. I don't know. And then we start getting into things I can't pronounce.
Oh, that's why it's popular. Freaking Logan Paul.
Yeah.
It's Logan Paul's drink.
Yeah, it's his company.
Oh, I hate life even more. Him and Mr. Beast.
Oh, but I
my
mean, like,
distaste for him and Mr. Beast.
like, you know, Mr. Beast and his shitty ass cookies and cereal bars and
hamburgers.
Yeah, all that stuff. Whatever.
Candy bars.
You know,
yeah.
like, at least he doesn't go to a fucking thing called the Suicide Forest with a fucking camera.
Oh, yeah.
At least he didn't go to At least he didn't go to fucking Japan and say, "Man, we gotta respect all the Japanese people here," and then jump cut to him throwing a gigantic Pokemon ball at Japanese people, going, "I choose you."
I was gonna say, I was gonna say he did. Yeah, he's awful. So much so that, like, you know, the last year, streamers have tried to mimic. I think this Mountain Dew is getting to me because I'm feeling like, but a bunch of streamers, you know, got in trouble for like doing similar things. Like, I wish I could remember the name of the streamer that got arrested in Japan for just being a jerk in Japan.
I saw that.
I'm like, oh, they got arrested, yeah, and then they got arrested in like another country. They went to another country, live streamed. And the cops, like, manhandled him to the ground. I'm like, good. Keep doing this to this guy because I hate this guy. You know, like, he's giving tourists a bad name.
And then this other asshole's brother, you know, challenges Mike Tyson to a fucking fight, which I don't wish harm on.
I can't wait.
I don't wish harm on anybody. Man, but I can't wait to see how many concussions he gets in one fight.
I mean, Tyson's like twice the guy's age, but I still think Tyson's gonna win. I think Tyson. If he doesn't win, it's rigged.
I hope it's a complete mirror of his very first match. He's 16 years old. His first match lasted 8 seconds.
You know.
I hope at 57, so it's not quite as poetic, but at 57, I hope that it lasts 8 seconds. Maybe 16. So we get extra hits in there. But I hope that after Tyson destroys that guy's brother, that they both just go away. Use all the money from their shitty products to take care of his fucking brain-dead brother after the fight. Again, don't wish harm on anybody, but I'm just saying, you know, for comedic purposes. Use all that money from their shitty fucking influence videos and go away.
Yeah.
It really pisses me off that guy is really good at wrestling.
I mean, they got to be good at something.
Like every time Logan Paul, when he signed a WWE contract, like a real contract, I went, ugh. But then he started showing, and he really just does pay-per-view matches. But when he does it, I'm like, damn it, he understands this, and he's fucking good. Like, that pisses me off. Because I hate that guy.
I get it, though. I understand why. I mean, I understand. Like, you there's certain people you just want to see fail, and fail often. But, all right.
I mean, you know, again, karmic reasons. I don't wish negativity on anybody, but man, you're an idiot to challenge Mike Tyson to a fight. You're an idiot for going to a country that is the whole thing is based on respect, and the whole country has this attitude of do whatever you want, just don't fucking bother me while you do it. And this asshole went over there and just said, I'm bothering fucking everybody.
Yeah.
I'm not even Japanese, and I'm fucking offended.
Oh, I was too. I hated it.
I'm still offended. And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, when I read about that, yeah, over a decade or yeah, however long ago it was, I'm just like, "Ugh, come on, like you're why? It was just he did not win any friends
Right.
or fans that way. I don't think, but
I mean, it.
listener's mate says that. Did you see that Mr. Beast's new game show where he gives $250,000 to one person in cubes from the ages of 1 to 100 by eliminating them until the last one? I don't know what you mean by any of that, other than it sounds like they're
It sounds like
killing.
it sounds like that fucking Howie Mandel TV show. One in
Deal
a
or No
hundred.
Deal.
No, the other
Oh,
one.
the 1 to 100 was
Who was that?
Bob Saget.
Saget did that one? Really? I don't remember.
Saget did something. Yeah, he did a game show where there was 100 people that were eliminated and they got prize money.
Because there was an Xbox version of it, an Xbox Live version
Oh.
of it, and thousands of people would play it when it first came out. It was fucking awesome.
There was that phone one. There was that phone where this guy would like do a quiz, and you had to be live. It was live at like 6 o'clock at night every day, and it was a live app. It was an app you turned on, and then like the further you got, the more money you got. But it was just you doing a quiz, like a trivia quiz on your phone, and you got money as you progressed. That one was a phenomenon for like half a year. But yeah, Mr. Beast. Look, I mean, again, he does good work. He does good things, but like he has a punchable face, and he just kind of just. I don't know,
You
he's
are
kind of
100% correct there. Definitely a punchable
It's just-
face.
his face. Every time I see that guy, I'm just like, man, just stand still. It's like, let me get one good hit in there, and I'll feel better. I'll feel like a happy camper.
Like,
But,
go dig all the wells and give people clean water.
Yeah.
You should be
altruistic.
You should be doing that with all your money anyway. As I've said a
Exactly.
million times on here, if you are a billionaire, you have failed in life, actually. You've
people
not
say that.
won shit. You have fucking failed. Nobody should
Well,
have
when
that
I
much-
become a billionaire, I won't feel like a failure.
I'm just saying.
When I become a billionaire, I'm gonna feel fine.
I'm just saying. Fucking trillionaire, whatever. Fuck all that.
We're not there yet. I'm afraid of the day. We had the first $1 trillion company.
Well,
in Apple like a few years ago.
We're at,
But-
we're still trying to get 2,000. Which, if I had 1 million fans on here, that'd be great. Yeah, I'll just take the 2,000.
What? We need to be on here more.
Yeah.
One of us has got to just do this more. That's all. That's the secret. When I found someone started last week
I saw that. Yeah. I saw.
and
I
is
saw.
already affiliate with a bunch of
Yeah.
subs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I saw that.
It took 7 days. It took seven streams
Yeah.
to make money
Yeah. I saw that.
at like almost 200 followers. I'm like, okay. I just a tear just ran down my cheek when I found that out. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I even tuned in and I went, love you, but really? Okay.
Here's the thing.
Alrighty.
This person is very active in social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like very active.
Yes.
That's how you like this person is very good at building an audience. Josh and I suck at building an audience.
Yes.
Because we do not
Completely.
interact with anyone. I mean, we interact with you in the chat, right? Like listeners made
We interact with each
gave an
other on
explanation
Twitter.
the game. We interact with each other, but like I have like 3 or 4 people who will like my stuff and interact with me on Twitter. That's it.
Yep.
I'm
Same
actually
here.
tempted to be like I'm tempted tonight, even though I have an early night tonight for the most part. I'm tempted to just spend like an hour talking to people. Sorry. Ugh.
Ugh. It hurts to even hear it.
That hurt me a little bit to say that I have to talk to people. And especially as an introvert, it's like really tough. But yeah, like I'm gonna try and see if I can't build an audience, because that's the secret.
Yeah.
Is talk to people, and people will like you if you have a good personality, and you'll build an audience.
Yeah, I think it's something. I mean, we did it. We've done it in the past. There just wasn't a Twitch thing where we
kind of, not really.
not to the full extent. But what I'm saying is like we all the people that were. This is so inside baseball. The people that were the junk food network, the people that were the POI network, everybody was found through Twitter and interacting.
Yep.
You know, junk food people found other junk food people through Twitter.
Right.
POI people found people through Twitter. Then we found each other. You know, and all those friendships, even the people that we don't even talk to anymore. All of that was found through Twitter. So it's possible to do. Yeah. You know, I mean, you have an entire voice cast to a cartoon or, you know, whatever it's going to be, like made up of 3 different groups of people all found on Twitter. So it's possible to do. We've been there before.
Yeah. As mutuals, yeah, definitely. Like, we definitely were able to connect with mutuals. I think we need to now I mean, we have fans, right? We have fans, sort of, right? But I think that's the difference is, you know, building fans, and it means interacting, and it means spending, maybe not spending more time online, because I think we already spend enough as it is, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if we're gonna use this nameless faceless person as our bar, if you will, then this person is on Twitter all day, every day, because their job allows them the freedom to have that. We have real jobs. No, we don't. I just said how I don't have a real job.
I hate to say it, but this person has a real job. They just happen to be able to kind of do both, right? Like, this person has a real job.
They're also a millennial.
Like a big job.
They're a millennial. They're built for this.
I suppose so. You're right. They, you know, because they're younger than us. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But like, here's the part but this is the thing, and this is kind of like, you're living my dream. This person has other people doing stuff for them, like volunteering. Like, I'll do this thing, and this person never mentioned it. They're just like doing their own thing, and out of nowhere, they're like, "Well, I want to like do this really complex. I want to make a big Discord server for everyone to be a part of, and I'm going to do all the work." Didn't say, "Hey, you over there, do all the work." They're like, "I volunteer because you're just that awesome."
Oh, let me build you a fucking background for you.
Give me a background.
Yeah, let me just send you a couple $100 to get a better microphone.
No. Oh well. Right.
Just saying.
Well, hey, look. I mean, there was a stream where one dude was just like candy, like, you get a sub. Oh, you over there gets a sub. You get a sub. $6 a pop, by the way. A sub. It's $6 a pop. Gave it to like a dozen people. $70 worth of subs just in like an hour. It's like, I mean, that's it's like,
right.
Like, I would love that as a thing, you know. I'm like, wow.
Well, maybe we can get there. You know, the job thing's changing here pretty soon. Don't know what the schedule's going to be like, but maybe it'll afford me to have a little bit more time to do more of these. We'll see. We'll just have to see. Francis has 9 other shows he's on, so you know, I can't do this by myself.
I make myself so busy that I don't have time to do things I want to do, which
Right.
sucks. But here's the deal. Here's what you should do, and I don't think you can do this because of the type of work that you can do. But there's this people at convenience stores will stream their day at a convenience store.
Yeah,
or in a taxi.
Sure.
I'm just saying, like they'll
Right.
stream their work day.
But we're not breaking kayfabe, but I would not be able to. We already talked about
no.
we already talked about what we did, but if you didn't watch the episode or you don't listen to it, you're never gonna find out. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. There's too many legal issues with that one.
And I couldn't do it in my job because my job is boring and has nothing of interest to talk about. And plus, I work with a lot of confidential information, so I can't.
Exactly.
I can't do it.
But if I had a big enough battery pack, I would live stream a Comic-Con experience. If
That's a different thing. Yeah, I think live streaming from a convention. I think you need to find a way to do it. This for FanX.
it really just comes down to finding, being able to get one of those MiFis or something strong enough that you can have your own internet
I guess
access.
so. I think it would still have the same type of interference because
Probably.
it's going through a cellular network.
Yeah.
I think it's just best to just have like through your phone. It doesn't have to be live. Just record it.
That's true.
Don't go live. Just record the situation. Just record it for afterwards, so someone can look. Like people who like conventions can be like, oh, like there's this isn't what you're gonna be doing, but like I see a ton of videos of people taking pictures and video of cosplayers. There's 10-minute, 20-minute videos of just cosplayers of a single convention on a single day. And that gets that's interaction, that's views, that's promotion.
We have one of those channels on the POI YouTube channel. You can check out some of the conventions that we've done. Some of the interviews that we've conducted at those conventions as well. We being me and my other personalities, because I don't think anybody else's shit's up there, but my
I
stuff.
thought that mine isn't there. Yeah, I don't think so. By the way, just last two things because Liz has made us kind enough to interact with us on the chat. If we didn't Andy Griffith podcast with you, listeners mate, I would just whistle the entire time. That's all I would do. I would communicate through whistling. So I'm sure people would be very annoyed by the fact that all I'm doing is whistling to the Andy Griffith Show podcast. I don't know if people would be interested in live stream visits to a doctor's office.
There's
again confidential information. Yeah. That's a lot of like personal stuff. So I don't think you could do that. I'm pretty sure, as a matter of fact, you can't because it's a lot of people's, medical stuff is HIPAA protected.
HIPAA protected. And unless you sign away, and you end up on a show like, I don't know, My Strange Addiction or 600-Pound Life or something, or.
I mean, you could do it by yourself without.
Sure.
You just have to make sure no one else ever gets on camera, or no one else ever gets on, or you blur out faces and stuff.
Yeah,
like that's the only way to do it.
I mean, if the camera was always pointed at yourself,
yeah,
and you made everybody aware, they could say no. Yeah. But nobody would want to be on. I don't think any doctor would say, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, shoot me."
Well, unless the doctor's face wasn't on camera, I think they'd be
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think just the doctor's voice, maybe you might be able to pull that off. I don't know. I think the HIPAA thing would still come into play, though. You need it would. I think you would need release forms for that.
For other people, definitely. But if you can find a way to where it's only just you somehow, some way, you just like focus it only on you. It's your information. You do whatever the hell you want with it.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway. All right. Sorry, that's all I want to say. I want to talk to listeners mate as we end.
So we will be back. Maybe we'll get to pull some more of these off with this new job thing that I'm doing. We'll see. We will see, because I don't have enough information yet to even say we'll be here for sure next Tuesday at the same time. I don't know.
Ooh, scary.
I don't know. We'll be here, though. We'll be back. Francis, where can people find you on the internets if they want to do that?
You know what? Just at AKA the other guy. I'll post about all the stuff that I do. I'm planning on. I told Josh earlier. I'm planning. I think of doing another podcast. Finally, after all these almost 2 years of not having my own personal podcast, I'm thinking of starting one. So we'll see what happens. I have to figure that out. But at AKA the other guy for everything.
Yes,
all the stuff.
And find him on Super Geeked Up whenever it's on. It's on hiatus right now, but you go to the Super Geeked Up page, check out old episodes, geeky improv. It's fun stuff. You can call in, voicemail text here at 314-764-7631. Spells out POI Pod 1. You can look us up at POI Podcast or the POI Podcast, pretty much everywhere. I think on Spotify. I just looked it up the other day, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was the POI Podcast on the Spotify. I know.
Synergy.
I know. Fuck Synergy. Email us at thepoipodcast@gmail.com. That's everything. Find me at 303_ninja on the Twitters, 303ninja on the Instagram, and all over your Twitch stream sometime soon. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I ended way too fast. We have a lot of music left, but I'm just going to fade it out.
Thanks, Goats, 66, and Strenuous Cabs for following us recently.
Oh, yes. We love new followers. Keep following them. Tell your friends. I have nothing else to say. We're out of here. Bye.